Okay, so talking about the women's programming. When it comes to her being the wife and what the wife means, which I've done a video about, I went in depth about the wife. But I'm talking about the programming, the other side of the woman, for the women who are looking to be married because they're taught that marriage is the prize. Them being a mother and them being a wife is the end goal, end game. It's the prize, okay? So there's a lot of women who are still out here looking to be wives. You got this wife school, you got all this stuff going on that goes towards being a wife. They want a man to lead. You hear the women talking about, I want him to lead. I have no problem being submissive if he has the finances and can take care of me, the house, and the children. Okay, that is a programming. And a lot of these women are actually getting angry, upset, and mad because the men do not want to go 50-50 and they can't take care of the entire family and home by themselves. Okay, so they're calling them weak, they're calling them broke, this, that, and the other. And I'm not really siding with the men here. I'm just talking about the women. This is where they at mentally. They will not give the man an opportunity, time of day, if he cannot take care of her completely. Now, a lot of these women can't take care of themselves, which is why they want the man to actually take care of them, okay? Which is why they're looking for the man who actually can take care of them, the children, and the household, and she'll be able to stay in the house because we've been told that the prize is for the woman to be in the home, raising the children, taking care of the household. And again, this is coming from women who haven't even experienced it. They have no idea. They just hearing that this is the prize, this is the goal, the end goal. So the thing is, you have to know what you want. You have to know what comes behind being kept inside of the home to raise babies and take care of the house and take care of that man. What you really doing is, you're basically, your perception is completely off, which the programming is actually running you. You're not running yourself. You don't even have self-autonomy, which is why you're so eager to actually give it up, because you don't even have it. You're willing to give up your self-autonomy just to be able to be a kept woman, not knowing everything that comes behind being the kept woman. That kept woman turns into a little girl. First of all, you're a little girl anyway. You just don't know it yet. Only a little girl wants to be taken care of by her daddy. Okay? The husband is actually the daddy. Okay? He's the master. He's the daddy. Okay? He takes care of his daughter. So that's what you're doing. So you're putting yourself in a position to be taken care of like you're codependent and dependent. And you are. You're codependent and you're dependent. You can't take care of yourself. So you're willing to be the maid, the mammy, the kitchen skivvy, the daughter inside of the home while he go out and he deal with the world and he just bring the package back to you for the house to be taken care of. And however way it's going to be taken care of. That's a daughter. You are his daughter. He's the father. When you need something, you got to go to him and ask. That's what a daughter does to her parents. Daddy, I need clothes. Daddy, we need food in the house. Daddy, the baby needs these things. You are the daughter. You are now his daughter. And all the children you have for him is basically your children, and as well as your siblings, because your children is going to be his siblings as well. Okay? So when you giving up of yourself and you giving up your hopes and your dreams and you dropping off everything before you come into this door to be a kept woman, you are giving up all of yourself, which means you are no longer deemed a woman. You are considered to be a child that is in need. So Like I said, everything you need, you have to go tell him and let him know. You are going to be around the house doing what we did as little girls, which was cleaning up, taking care of our siblings, cooking and cleaning. Basically, you grew up just to come back down to be a kid. So in reality, you really didn't grow up. You loved the dynamic of being the little girl and being taken care of, so that you didn't have the responsibilities to actually do these things. So it's better for you to be in the house and allow somebody else to be responsible. And the problem that comes with that in the end, in the middle, in the beginning too, is that you're giving up all of yourself to be taken care of. So which means you have no laws, you have no rights. You are the child. You accepted the child's place. That's the role you will be in. So which means, again, you're not making any money. And even if he allows you to pay the bills and pay the rent in the house, if he allow you, because a lot of men nowadays don't do that. Y'all thinking about the men back in our grandparents' day who was actually, and all of them weren't even doing that then. It was only a select few who was doing that. All those men were not coming home giving those women their check. I know men in this era who are married and they wife, they take care of their wife. These husbands do not put money in their wife's hands. They go buy them all the gifts they want. They go buy all the things that's needed for the household. They the one that's paying the rent, and they the one that are paying the bills. They don't even give it to her because they don't even want her to even have the money in their hands, okay? So you keep this in mind when you want to be kept. You allowing yourself to be put in a position to be dependent, because now you're dependent upon him. Anything's happen with his job happens to you. If he decides, okay, he don't want this marriage anymore, and he can always decide that, he can jump ship. He can find somebody that he deemed more suitable than you. And if he decides to leave, you're stuck with what you came in the door with, which was just you and the clothes on your back. So which means now you're back to being helpless. And now you got to go find you another daddy because you've never been taught how to take care of yourself. So you're handing over the reins to him. You're taking his name. You allow him to be the lead over you. Again, that makes you the daughter. It makes you a little girl. That's what you are, because you don't want to take care of yourself. You don't want to take care of yourself. You give up your rights to him, and you trust in him that he's going to lead you in the right direction. Let's be real. Most, if none of them, do not. They're really in the benefit for themselves. So what happens is with the man down the line, he's going to get annoyed. He's going to get irritated because he's going to start feeling like he's your parent. Okay? He's going to start feeling like he's your parent and you are the child. So the more babies you have, he got to take care of you. He got to take care of all of those babies, and he got to take care of the entire household. That's going to eventually become a burden. It's going to become heavy. He's going to start disrespecting you. He's going to start mistreating you. He's going to start abusing you because now he sees you as a burden. And then on top of that, you constantly having babies and making more burdens for him, making him having to work harder and longer. And then now his money got to get split many different ways than before. So it's going to be even more of a reason for him to want to jump ship. So again, when you want to hand over the authority of your own life, just for the sake of being a daughter, you don't know you being a daughter because you don't understand your own program. You don't even understand that you're being ran by your program. You think that you are running and controlling yourself. In reality, you're not controlling anything. The programming is controlling you, and your daddy is actually controlling you. You have no control over yourself, which means you are a slave. Okay? So keep in mind, when you want to be kept and you want somebody to cover you and take care of you and do everything for you, that makes you a child, and which means that person can jump ship at any moment. And when he do, there's more than enough stories, enough women sharing their experiences from being married 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. They're telling y'all this and y'all don't like to listen. The reason why so many women are coming out with these stories, so that you can prevent the next generation of young women coming into the door doing the same thing that a lot of us actually did and got ourselves stuck in. It's actually called financial abuse. A lot of men financially abuse their women, and you don't really hear people talking about financial abuse like that. It'll keep the woman trapped. A lot of women end up being abused, whether it's mentally, emotionally, physically, financially. So which means if that woman is unhappy, and a lot of women were unhappy back then, and you still have some now that's married because they're financially trapped because they don't have the ability, they don't have the skill set to go do anything because they were totally dependent upon that man. So which means that was his way of trapping. So now you're stuck and you can't get out. And a lot of them don't want their women working. They don't want you out there working because that gives you the upper hand. They don't want you to have the upper hand. They want the upper hand. And the upper hand is being able to take care of yourself. It's a flex to be able to take care of yourself financially. Because if you cannot take care of yourself financially, that is not a flex. And it makes you more of a liability than anything. You are not an asset. You now become a liability. And anything that's a liability, they'll easily get slashed and dropped, mistreated, and abused. A lot of women was trapped back then, and there are still a lot of women today who are trapped in homes and marriages that they can't get out of because they don't even have their own independency, their own interdependence to even get out. They don't have their own money. They just became solely dependent upon him. And when you become solely dependent upon someone to take care of you, this is the outcome. This is the reason why when the 70s hit and those laws came out for women to get their own job, to be able to make their own money, to be able to get their own bank account, to be able to get their own credit without having the man sign off on it. This was the saving hope for a lot of women back in that time because they were trapped under that man because they had no way out, because they had no money, they were not allowed to work. Why do you think so many women nowadays are out here getting their own bag? They're doing that because they've been through it too, and they're telling you if you listen, which is why they'll never allow a man to ever trap them financially. They don't even get with men if they know they have to take, if the man is going to be responsible for taking care of them. So they already could take care of themselves financially, which is why a lot of men are mad now because a lot of women are getting their bag, which means they don't need him financially. The only reason why the women were stuck back then because they needed the man financially. So once they got the laws that allowed them to go out and be able to move freely financially, it gave them a rise. And that's what the men are pissed about now, because now women can go do anything they want. You can get degrees, you can go to school, you can do whatever you want to make your own money. That gave the woman the rise and the power back into her financial responsibility to the point where she could now emotionally connect, she can mentally connect. The men didn't want us that way because they had us under control as long as they could not take care of themselves. They want you dependent. And as long as you're dependent, then they'll keep you stuck and trapped, and they'll treat you any kind of way because you can't get out. So a lot of y'all that want to be kept, you really need to be thinking about it. I don't believe in that. Those two are programs. I feel like both men and both women should be able to take care of themselves. So therefore, you won't have to worry about somebody trying to one-up you and trap you somewhere. Be able to take care of yourself and not want to give up your rights to be self-governed, to take care of yourself. So basically, when women are giving up their rights to be married, you're giving up your rights to be self-governed. You're giving up your rights to be free. So which means you are trapped, you are a slave. That's why you get trapped, because you gave up your rights just so that you can be the submissive one. And when men ask for submission, they're asking you to bow down. They're asking you to give yourself up. That's why they bring up submission a lot. That's why they're mad at women who don't want to submit. Submit just means give yourself up to me. It means give up everything and let me carry you. And they're going to carry you how they want. You got to be able to look at that and understand and read that man from head to toe internally, to see what he really have to offer and to see his true agenda. And a lot of women don't know how to do that because they're so detached from their intuition. They go against themselves and go against their intuition in order just to be able to have a man, a pick me. And because of that, you being removed from yourself, you don't know who's going to get you and who's not going to get you. So which means it makes you naive and stupid and dumb, which means you're walking into things blindly and don't know what you're walking into. And then when the shit hit the fan, and it will, you're not going to understand what went wrong, and you're going to want to be the victim, and you're going to want to blame that man. But it was really you. He played his role. He's going to pay for his role, but you also played your role too, because you wanted to be taken care of. And when you want to be taken care of, there are consequences that comes behind that. There are pros and cons to everything. And when you don't think because you don't want to, you want to give up your mind and your power to somebody else, this is the outcome. So go ahead and be kept. You got women out here telling other women how to run game on guys. Why did you got to go through all that? If they for you, they for you. If you mesh well, you mesh well. Y'all can come together and make it happen together. You're supposed to be 50-50. And I know a lot of y'all don't want to hear that. It's supposed to be 50-50. I'm supposed to put myself in all the way. He's supposed to put himself in all the way. We bring things to the table that you integrating yourself to get fully by yourself. And then someone come in, they're just basically being the companion. They're being a partner. They're just bringing what they already have, and we bring it together. So if we already whole or becoming whole and the two come together, then you'd be able to fully integrate and become equally yoked with that person versus that person being above you and you being under them.